Euclid's geometry. This is chapter 5. Now let us see what are the topics that we are going to cover in this chapter. So your first topic is point, line, ray and segment. That is, these are all the basics of geometry that we are going to cover. Then Euclid's 5 postulates and Euclid's axioms. Now these are the topics that we are going to cover in this chapter. Let us move on to some of the basics of geometry. So your first topic is a point. So how do we define a point? So point is a dot or a mark of position. So it is a dot or the mark of position. Position means any position. So let me take a mark of position, that is, let me take a dot. So here is a dot. So this dot is nothing but a point. Now how do we name a point? So to name a point, we name it by any alphabet. We have seen this in the previous classes as well. So we name it by any alphabet. Let me name this point, say for example, point C. So I can say this is point C. If I change the point, say I take a point over here. Again, if I am changing the point, then I have to change the alphabet as well. So let me take some another alphabet, say for example Z. So this can be called as point Z. If I change one more point over here, so this is a dot, or I can say this is a mark of position, that is a point. And again I can name this by any alphabet, say for example E. So this is point. Point is nothing but a mark of position or a dot, which you have already learned in the previous classes as well. Let us move on to the next topic now. A line. And how do we define a line? So basically, line is made up of innumerable points and can be extended in both the directions. So line is made up of innumerable points and can be extended in both the directions. You need to understand what is the meaning of this innumerable. Innumerable means infinite, and it can be extended in both the directions. There are basically, both means two, there are two directions. So let us see how a line is. You're already aware of this part as well. So this can be called as a line, and this line can be extended in both the directions. Let us see how. You can see that this line is extending in both the directions, and it can extend still further. So line can be extended in both the directions, and it is made up of innumerable points. That means there are innumerable points on this line. There are many points. So this line is basically made up of points. Now, how do we name a line? So to name a line, as there are infinite points, what we do is we generally select 2 points. We generally select 2 points. 1, 2. So these are the 2 points taken over here. And let me name this line. Say for example, I take a point A over here. I name this as point A. I name this as point B. So I can say that this is line AB. This is a line AB. So this can be called as line AB. So line can be named in 2 alphabets. 2 capital alphabets you can say. But there is one more way to name a line. What you can do is, you can use a small alphabet over here. Say for example, small alphabet L. Now, this line can also be called as line L. So this can be also called as line L. So there are 2 ways to name a line. You can name a line by 2 alphabets, 2 capital alphabets, or you can name a line in small alphabet, that is 1 small alphabet. So let me take one more example of a line. If I draw like this and give 2 arrows at the end. Now again, this is a line. It can be extended in both the directions. Right? It can be extended like this. It can be extended like this. And to name a line, again I have 2 choices. I can name it by small alphabet. If I use a small alphabet, say for example M, then I can call this as line M. Or else, if I want to name this by capital alphabets, then I have to take 2 alphabets over here. So let me take 2 points like this. And then let me name them. Say for example, C and D. So this can be called as line CD as well. Again, this was the basic. Let us move on to the next topic now. So next topic is a ray. So what is a ray? A ray is again made up of innumerable points, but can be extended in one direction only. So ray can be extended only in one direction. Let us see how. So this is a ray. You can see that there is a fixed point over here, and only one arrow is there. This one arrow indicates only in this direction it can extend. So let us see how. So in this way, ray can be extended only in one direction. As you see, wherever there is arrow, only in that direction it can extend. It cannot extend in this direction. That is, in this direction, it won't extend. Why? Because there is a fixed point over here and it can extend only in one direction. Okay. So how to name a ray? So again, to name a ray, you need 2 points. This fixed point is there. Let me name this fixed point. Say for example, R. So this fixed point, let this point be called as R, and I have to take one more point on this part. So say for example Z. Then I can call this ray as RZ. Ray RZ. This ray RZ tells us that the ray starts from R and it can be extended in the direction Z. Note one thing, that we cannot call this as ray ZR. So it cannot be called as ray ZR. Ray ZR means Z is the fixed point and it can be extended in R. I'll give an example. Say for example, I take a ray like this. I fix up 2 points over here. So let me say that this point is, say for example, L, and let me take one more point, say for example, O. So this is a ray, it can be extended only in one direction. So this ray has to be called as ray LO. It has to be called as ray LO. I cannot call this as ray OL. So the first fixed point has to be named. Then we write down the alphabet in which it can be extended. So ray LO would be the correct answer. Okay, again it was the basic part. So let us move on to the next topic. What is a segment? So segment is again made up of innumerable points and has both its endpoints fixed. So this is a segment. You can clearly see both the endpoints are fixed and segment cannot be extended in either direction. So segment cannot be extended in this way. It cannot be extended in this way. It is fixed. The endpoints are fixed. That means it has a fixed length. It has a fixed length. We cannot change that. So again, to name a segment, we need 2 alphabets. Say for example, if I take 2 alphabets over here, say M. If I take 2 alphabets, say for example M and N, then I can say that this segment can be called as, so segment MN, or you can also call this as segment NM. That doesn't matter. You can call it as segment MN or you can say it is NM. It is one and the same. So these were the basics. So let us repeat the basics once again. So point. What is a point? Point is a dot or a mark of position. It has to be named in one alphabet. Then we saw what is a line. So line is made up of innumerable points and it can be extended in both the directions. Then we saw a ray. What is a ray? Ray is again made up of innumerable points, but it can be extended only in one direction. And then segment. So what is a segment? Segment is made up of innumerable points, but it has fixed endpoints.